How's it going, guys? And welcome back to BL3's Forgotten, the series where I take a look at underused and not often talked about pieces of gear to determine whether or not they deserve to be remembered within the modern meta of the game or should be left behind and forgotten. And today we are taking a look at the Roisen's Thorns. If you'd like to farm the Roisen's Thorns for yourself, you'll want to fast travel over to the Splinterlands on Pandora, taking either fast travel station and making your way towards the save station right out front of the roller coaster. From there, you can either grab a car or sprint your way through this arch where you can find in the opening Princess Tarantella II. Kill her and you can get yourself the Roisen's Thorns. The Roisen's Thorns is a legendary Torgue pistol only able to roll in corrosive and able to come with 1 to 2 projectiles per shot for 1 or 2 ammo cost per shot respectively. But it's not only corrosive, because upon firing the Roisen's, it'll shoot out 1 corrosive projectile surrounded by 4 incendiary projectiles. All of these projectiles deal splash, with the fire orbs each dealing 25% of the weapon's damage. The Roisen's does also have a sticky mode, however the sticky mode removes the incendiary projectiles and instead just works as a usual Torgue sticky. The Roisen's has received a couple of buffs, initially getting a 53.3% weapon damage increase, which was later followed up by another 100% weapon damage increase. When I was younger, I fell into a rose bush at my Nona's house, like hands first. That shit fucking hurt. I have no reason to be telling this story other than it just felt relevant. The Roisen's Thorns is easily one of the most gorgeous weapons Gearbox has made. They cooked a 3-course meal here with those tiny ass fancy portions, gold encrusted steak, ham and Swiss on rye type shit. This thing is nectar of the gods type weapon design. Gaming industry's first ever Roisen's type gun. And as pretty as it looks, it doesn't just stop there, because even firing this thing is damn beautiful. And I remember thinking this all the way back in the days of Mayhem 3, right on launch. And dear God, was I disappointed. This thing was ass. But Gearbox clearly agreed that this thing deserved better and hit it with 2 pretty substantial buffs. So how is it holding up today? Going into this, I was already pretty aware that the Roisen's is damn good. I mean, you don't just walk away from a 50% buff followed by another 100% like it's nothing. That changes a gun. And as good as I was expecting it to be, god damn, this thing still surprised me. The Roisen's just pumps out damage incredibly well and never loses steam even up into True Guardian Takedown. This is genuinely just a powerhouse of a pistol, especially for having built-in elemental coverage between the incendiary and corrosive projectiles. And everyone's running a revolter nowadays anyway, so you got your 3 main food groups covered. As I mentioned, it can roll as ×1 or ×2, and both of these are incredibly good options, to the point where I actually didn't notice a huge change in performance between the 2 of them. ×1 is of course great damage for less ammo and performs incredibly well all around, while ×2 is just even more damage. But being a slower fire rate semi-auto pistol, I really didn't notice the increased ammo consumption that much. Of course, you are going to be reloading far more often, going from 8 shots per mag to 4, but it felt like the trade-offs were pretty well balanced. Both ×1 and ×2 definitely have their place. What doesn't really have a place though is the sticky mode. That might be a little bit harsh, because the stickies do actually perform pretty damn well, to the point of actually being a really solid option for a sticky pistol. But the sticky mode straight up removes the unique projectile pattern of the Roisen's, and of course with that, the additional incendiary damage, which is, you know, kind of lame. Again, it's not bad, it's just that you're probably not picking up the Roisen's to use it as a sticky gun. That's like reaching for a dildo to use as a paperweight. Now, as much as I have been choking down this gun's barrel, there is a bit of a downside, and that's that it does kind of fall off at longer ranges against smaller targets. It is actually pretty accurate for a decent amount of distance, but beyond a certain distance, the incendiary projectiles specifically just kind of entirely lose their accuracy and swerve around a little bit. Now, it does also have slower moving projectiles, but honestly, that's really not a huge deal just because of the wide coverage of the pattern. An enemy could definitely move out of the way, but you are still likely to hit them with something anyways. And of those issues, none of them really matter. This thing still hits like an absolute truck. And on top of that, synergizes incredibly well with extra projectiles, because it'll dupe all the projectiles, including the incendiary ones, as they are unlisted, meaning that this gun is very good with playing dirty, Two-Fang, or the Infernal Wish. Overall, the Roisen's is potentially the most beautiful gun that Gearbox has ever and will ever create, and it is a powerhouse within the Torgue pistol class. It might not quite be up there with the Craps, the Prompt Critical, or the Unkempt Herald, but it is definitely a viable and much prettier alternative. That's gonna about do it for this one though. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, all that. I will be live right after this video goes up, right here on YouTube and also over on my Twitch channel, where there will be a link to down in the description below, and just under that is a link to my Discord server where you can come and join and hang out. But with that all being said, I hope to see you guys in the next one.